Welcome back. We saw a lot of interest in Iowa's first Congressional District election race this year. Incumbent Republican Miller-Meeks seems on her way to a third term on the House of Representatives by defeating Democrat Christina Bohannan in a close contest, separated there by 799 votes in this rematch from 2 years ago. This race, interestingly, saw 107,000 more votes cast than in 2022. Let's bring back Michelle Crawford and Mark Schreiber. Bohannan alone spent more than $5 million on this race. How much does this local race represent the division we see across the country? Mark Schreiber.
Well, I think it does reflect the deep divisions that exist within the country. And this particular district, however, has been a cliffhanger for the last 3 elections. The margins have been incredibly narrow. So I think we can say that as far as Miller-Meeks is concerned, she hasn't exactly built on the incumbency over the time she's been there. But there were some unpopular votes she took in the last section, and that can account for the fact that this would be that she would have had some resistance from within her own party, as well as having a strong candidate on the other side. I don't know that this necessarily reflects any national trend specifically. I think it's more of a local thing. However, it does have an impact on national politics because the control of the House is still up in the air. And it would certainly be helpful if one of the houses of Congress, at least, was held by the other party to assure that some of those excesses Michelle was mentioning a few minutes ago don't happen in the new administration.
Michelle, do you see this race as being reflective of the national division?
Yes and no. Miller-Meeks won 17 of the 20 counties. She narrowly lost Scott County, and she did lose Johnson by a pretty significant margin. But collectively, the majority of our counties did support Miller-Meeks. And so I think personally what these numbers represent, not so much the political divide, but it's the political landscape of rural versus urban and even suburban. So, the counties where it's rural, she won every single one. Scott County, Davenport, and of course Johnson County, Iowa City, that they went blue, as we see across the nation through several cycles. What's fascinating to me about this race is Democrats painted Miller-Meeks as this radical conservative and far-right candidate, but some Republicans, many that I spoke to, they claimed that she was too moderate and not conservative enough to represent us. So I've known Miller-Meeks for years. I think she is a very balanced congresswoman. She fully understands that she's representing an entire district that's very diverse, and she works really hard to make sure that she's a representative for everyone. So there's no doubt that there's a national divide, but I think the majority of Americans, and particularly Quad Cityans, I think, we are more alike than we are different, and I think that we know how to communicate and find some commonality and move forward on so many issues. So I think she does a good job of representing the district as a whole.
And to be fair, Republicans tried to paint Christina Bohannan extremely to the left as well. Michelle Crawford, Mark Schreiber, thanks for the conversation. Both of you be safe.